G'day, hi and welcome. There's my doggy. Yes, gotta pay the dog tax before we start the video. Yeah, oh, that's your liking, your highness, your royalty, your goodness. Hey, there, get both sides. There. Oh yeah, okay, more. Okay, there's that enough? No, okay, I'm sorry. My bad. Okay, anyway. I'm gonna see if I can get this sucker running today. Just for the giggle factor. We'll get into the main video in a second. Ether. Is there anything it can't do? I'm going to find out. One pull. What do you say, Goof? One pull and it runs. Ooh, that mat stinks. On. One pull. Almost one pull. Try to choke. That's all it does. Don't know if it's the jets or like it's getting fuel, but it's not getting very much. So I'll leave that. I'll try it again. It's nice and warm today. It's like got a bit of an Indian summer going on right now. Mind you, it's going to get massively cold in a couple of days. So we are November 5th. You show him a pumpkin. I wonder if he's still frozen. Hey, pumpkin. Isn't that a nice little pumpkin? I haven't carved a pumpkin. Oh, he's not frozen anymore. Oh, he was a good looking little pumpkin until I squished it. I smushed his face. I'm 12. I'm 75. Anyway. You would do too. You do too. There's my CRV. There's my truck. Apparently I've lost some pieces off my truck. Can you figure out where? You know, remember there was like a, you know, like a whole piece of chunk there. I don't know where it went. It's like, it's gone. I'm deciding what to do. There's a couple of ways to fix this to make it solid. The nice thing about this side is that the rim part underneath is still there. But anyway, that's not what the video is about today. I'll decide that one in the spring of what I'm going to do with that. I got time. I mean, it's rusted, yeah, but it's not going to, it's probably not going to get a lot of driving this winter anyway. Less work picks up, but if it doesn't, today's question is going to be a very, very tough question to answer. In fact, this question started the day I bought this machine. And this machine has so much potential to do everything. First off, let me tell you about the machine. The machine takes corners like it's mounted on rails, but yet is so forgiving and stable and yet flickable at the same time. It's almost the perfect balanced chassis. And of course, what am I talking about? My tt600. Yes, my Triumph Daytona tt600. Although it does not say Daytona on it anywhere. It's basically the Daytona line. Now, here's the problem with this bike. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with it. I do know my battery's no more good. I think my battery charger went awry on me. It like killed the lawnmower battery. It overcharged the lawnmower battery, overcharged this battery. Mind you, these bikes are, you know, if you buy a cheap battery on a sport bike with high compression, you get maybe a year, 2 years out of a cheap battery. And then, you know, you got to get a really high crank and amp battery. So once you have a battery that can't quite crank it, you might as well not have a battery in it. It just won't work. It's still running on the 2 cylinders. I couldn't get it started the last time I tried. Mind you, the gas is getting a bit old. Although the gas is from the spring. I'll do it again. If I could get a place to work on this in the winter where it's like, you'd say, well, we'll just work on it in here. At minus 40, no thanks. You know what I mean? Like, I can't work on it in here. It's too crammed. And it's like the space I made here, okay, is not going to stay like that. It's going to get full of stuff like this. It's not my garage, so it's my dad's garage. So that's why I don't want to tear things apart and then have stuff piled on it. Although I've done pretty good. But here's the deal. This bike, okay, would be an awesome track bike. There's no doubt about it. Like, I have no doubt. Even just the way it is, it would be an awesome track bike. Now, remove that. Take off the back pegs. Take out the headlight and fill that in. Take off all the signals. Leave the Frame sliders are your friend. Take off the mirrors. Suddenly you got a bike that's really, you know, really, really, really cool. And this bike I could see as like, the thing is my first track bike, I don't know what it's going to be. I would like my first track bike to be 1,000 cc's. But considering the cost, here's what I'm up against. I want a 1,000 cc bike for the road. This bike was good. I only got 10,000 K on it before my Speedo went awry on me. I could live with the Speedo going awry on me. If you know what happens with these Triumph Speedos, somebody said it's probably my Speedo cable, but this is an electronic Speedo. It's not to my knowledge, it's not a mechanical. So if it was a mechanical one, that'd be awesome because you just replace the doodadder cable there, and that'd be it. But I don't think that's what it is. And then shortly after my Speedo kind of went awry on me, the tachometer works fine. Maybe the tachometer is still mechanical. It works fine, but then it started running on, well, it sounds like it's running on 2 cylinders. It might be running on 3 or whatever. But there's definitely something not running. And it could be a coil pack. It could be water built up in here. I just haven't gotten around to doing it, right? It could be a faulty plug, something as simple as that. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Just the way the cookie crumbled. I've been so busy this summer. Strangely enough, I was busy all summer looking for work. And then when I found work, I was too busy to work on this. And by the time I got to work on this, I was working on the CRV. I had to fix that. I got to keep this thing going. So, I mean, this is so far the vehicle. This is my top vehicle right now. Is that one? It runs. It runs. Yeah. But this machine, if I can, it's not a write-off. It's just a question of how much money do you put into a machine? You know what I mean? Like when do you say when? If I'm looking at $180 before tax Canadian minimum for a coil pack. If it needs, 1 coil pack, if it needs 4, times 180 by, you're looking at probably well over $800 with taxes and all. So almost $1,000 into a $3,400 bike, right? So when do you say when? But the thing is, I love the bike. There's another problem. This awesome fairing. Am I doing for time here? Oh, it's still good. This awesome fairing. I would not want to wreck that paint job on the track. But I do have the upgraded exhaust. I don't know about the fuel mapping. I ran out of money just before I was able to get the paddock stand and all that. But I was just kind of like sitting on this bike the past couple of minutes, practicing my transitioning and stuff like that for cornering and stuff like that. And it's like, this bike would be such an awesome bike. Like you sit in this bike, you put it on. Like it's a lot like a GSXR or a CBR in that sense, where you more get into the bike rather than on the bike. Like the ZX6 of this era. This is a 2003 model, or it's a 2002 model, but this is like the last of the production run in 2003 before they went to the Daytona 600, which is the same bike, slightly more boxy looking fairings, few little mapping upgrades in the fuel, but otherwise the same bike, right? People have asked, a guy asked me about this windscreen. I know I've answered it a couple of times. It said, all I can tell you, it says made in England on it. So I know it's not the factory one, because the factory one's a lot more flush. This one's a really nice windscreen. Also adds a nice look to the bike too. You got not quite as sharp as the Ducati one, but it's nice like that. Stands the bike up a little more. Works phenomenal. If it's raining, you put your head here, you're dry. You know what I mean? Plus this bike has grip warmers on it. Yeah, that's the first motorcycle I've had with grip warmers. But getting back to the question at hand, like I need a street bike, but like a track bike. And right now, the only Triumphs you see on the track are the 675s. I'm pretty sure you're going to see the 765s. I can't see Triumph giving up on its Daytona. I know the sport bikes don't sell as well for them as the cruisers. This might become a part 2. Yeah, but they make awesome sport bikes. Yeah, so should I turn the tt600 into a track bike? Mind you, I should have another bike by spring. I'd rather have I'll tell you what my goals are. Is basically to buy a drag bike, which cheap drag bikes for the Luskville Dragway, which is not too far from here, about an hour-ish drive. And then, of course, the largest racetrack in Canada, which is Calabogie Raceway. It's about an hour and a half from here, 2 hours tops, depending on traffic and which route I take. I've got a truck to pull it. I just need a trailer or take the cap off. But what I'll probably do is leave the cap on, get a trailer, like a really low trailer, because it's easier to load bikes, like a little U-Haul or something at some point. And then, you know, just trail that to the racetrack. That'd be awesome. But it's the largest one. Then Shannonville, which is it's like Canada's Laguna Seca. That one's maybe about 4 or 5 hours from here. And I'm in Quebec. So I've got, and then there's Saint Etienne, not the greatest track ever, but it's about an hour, 2 hours away. So I'm like surrounded by racetracks and drag strips and ovals everywhere. Like it's huge up here. It's still kind of like, it's not like you're in the States where it's well promoted. That's the only difference, but it's an option for me. So track bike, yay or nay? You guys tell me. And maybe I'll make a part 2.